Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so grateful to God for every single person who's subscribed, every single person who's liked, every single person who's watched. So I want to give you guys the part 2. Remember we left the childhood story episode, I don't know what, at the time I was 16. At 16, I'm such a liar. I was 12 years old, I was in year 6, and I was still at Mombasa Academy. So that year I was in year 6, a lot happened during that year. That was the year that we joined the high school side. Mombasa Academy is split into two sides. There's the prep side of the school on this side of the road, and there's the high school. So we joined the high school side. I was also becoming a teenager, so I started having crushes on boys. I remember the biggest crush on this Indian kid is in our class. His name was Pal Singh. He was so cool. He was as big as me. He was so kind to me and everything. It's also the time when the teacher had told everybody not to speak to me. So you can imagine, even after those 2 weeks, a lot of the students didn't want anything to do with me. Children are so easily influenced, you know. Once you tell a child this person is a bad person, they don't want anything to do with you. If I remember I was playing one time with another girl, and she was so nice to me, by the way. Her name was Milka Seifert. She was half German, half, I think, Luya. She was such a nice girl. And I remember she was the only person who wanted to still hang out with me, and people used to laugh at her. I remember we used to go for sleepovers at her house. Her father was so cool. Her father was this German guy and used to make a schnitzel. It's like chicken breast mashed up and like deep fried with breadcrumbs. It was so awesome. And we used to be allowed to take the mattresses in the sitting room and bend them over so we would make like little houses. It was so much fun. So I remember Milka was very supportive of me. Who else was supportive of me? The Ugandan girl was very supportive of me as well, but she was still very, very shy. Although I reached out to her mother for help. Was it 2 years ago? I reached out for her mother to help, and this was a lady who would spend so much time with our family and everything. And I remember the mother would keep lying to me and tell me, I'm in the village, I'll send you something, I'll send you something. Finally, this mother goes and sends those messages to which family members until it got back to my parent. My parent lost his crap. Chelimo, how are you calling this woman? And oh my God. And she was really the high commissioner's wife, but a very sick woman. Outwardly, she looks very kind and generous, and I'm here for you. Kwanzaa, there's also another one who's a very strong. The only reason I want to talk about that auntie is because her husband is one of the most gangster people in this country. So I'll just keep quiet. But I was really disappointed when I reached out for assistance and no assistance. That's when I tell you, people, please be sure on the people you have as friends. Please be sure of the people who your children are calling auntie and uncle. Because if anything happens to you, these are the people that will be left. These are your children will immediately assume these are my aunties and my uncles, and I can go to them for whatever reason, good or bad, you know. And then they'll be left so disappointed, so alone, so hard. So please be mindful. Please, even these godparents, godfathers, God what, please make sure they're people of substance. Are we together on the front row? Boom, twaff. So anyway, now my kleptomania has become extreme. I went to a birthday party. The kid's name was, I think, Alex or something. He was half Korean, half, I think, Russian or something. So we go over to his house, and it's a birthday party. I remember I opened a chocolate box. There was a box of chocolates in the living room. As I just opened this box to steal a piece of chocolate, the maid, you guys, the maid, another black man comes all over. What are you doing? What are you doing? I want to kill you. I was like, oh my God, I want to die. And then also, what happened? You remember the girl, the Nadia, the Swiss girl with the blue eyes? I was so pained. You know that time when they refused to give me a towel and I was freezing cold and they abused me and all of that mess? I was in so much pain and I had so much aggression towards this girl. I remember she had come to school with money. I don't know what she was paying for. They were in the library. I went into her bag. I took that money and I ripped it. Me, I'm telling you, kleptomania is different from stealing, because a kleptomaniac does not benefit from whatever they've stolen from. And I think the only thing you benefit from is that rush of, I've gotten away with it, you know. But once you take that object or that thing that you've stolen, you have no use for it. I had no use for this money. I had no use for the things I was taking. I just wanted people to feel the pain I was feeling inside. So if you have a child who's stealing out of the blue, please sit down with that child and ask them, what pain are you trying to deal with? Why are you trying to hurt other people? What is going on with you? I always say addiction begins in the childhood. Using drugs and alcohol is a symptom of that disease, is a symptom of that sickness. So please be mindful. Don't just be beating your children left, back, and center. Don't. Ask your child, why are you doing this? Why are you behaving this way? And most parents want to beat the child, because when most parents sit down and really think about it, they know the reason why this kid is doing this. The reason usually is something to do in that house, something to do in that home. Boom, 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 up, up, up. And then also at the same time, and this is so important to say, in every Kenyan family, there's always an auntie or an uncle's family that is well off more than others, right? something, and always these aunties and these uncles want to bring their children around their cousins who are not so well off. I'm not saying in every family. In my family particularly, these relatives, these cousins of mine who, from now the ones in Mombasa, they treated us so badly. You know, they always wanted to pick out our mistakes. They always wanted to put us down. And I think it's as children, you know, they're seeing you living in this big house and then they have to go back into the ghetto. There's this jealousy, there's this hatred. So that also was really damaging me because I was always a people pleaser. I wanted to be liked. In school, nobody likes me. I have no friends. At least can I have friends as my cousins? And they would always put me down. I was sick, you people. I was so sick mentally. I was so sick. And you know, all of this pain was stemming from the sexual assault. All of this pain, because if you look at my siblings, they are very much okay. My siblings are so happy, they're so successful, they're doing great things in this world. But me, what was the problem with this girl? And it was that damage, that wound that I had, because trauma means wound. That wound I was carrying around was infested, you know, and it was becoming rancid, and it was it was outward. It was now showing up in my behavior, my attitude, my perspective, everything. Boom. So at this point, I think now we had to move. We're moving to Nairobi. So when we moved to Nairobi, and I was really complaining as a kid about how I don't want to be around white people. You know, I'd always complain to my parents and tell them the things they're telling me in school. So my parent thought it's a good idea. Let me move her into a black school. So I was moved into a school. I won't say the name of this school because I really respect the headmaster. I really respect the institution. So I won't really say the name. But I was moved into a school. It was right down the road from my house. We actually used to walk to school every day in the morning. It was that close. When I joined that school, immediately it was pushback. It was a lot of attitude because I had a very heavy accent. I spoke like a white person. I spoke like a British white person. It's so crazy that even now when I try and speak like that, it has refused because I worked so hard purposefully to remove that accent because I was picked on. When I got there, they called me an Oreo cookie. They called me a Bounty chocolate. They called me a wannabe. You know, it was always rejection. So I remember in year 6, no friends also. Although I got close to this one girl, I love you, Leah. She's a doctor right now. Leah Nyambura is amazing. Leah, I remember I even called her when I was in so much was going on as an addict, and she really supported me. Leah, I love you to this day and forever. I have so much respect for you. But there was another girl that I'm going to use her real name because she's an actual dog. Her name was Mercy. I won't use the last name. The father owned had a newspaper in this country. That family was, I think, confused. She was a Luo girl, beautiful, nice chocolate skin. Are we together? But really trying so hard to be. You know, she would come and laugh at us and say, I buy my clothes from Woolworths, you know, where did she live? Sijui Garden Estate, Sijui we have a swimming pool in our house. Just this confusion, you understand? Anyway, why I really dislike this girl, in year 7, there was nothing big that happened in year 7. I just remember I was doing well in school, academically, I always wanted the teachers to like me. I was also in swimming, I joined the swimming team. It was so weird though, you know, when I joined that school, I used to wear a swimsuit, like us were just used to wearing a swimsuit. But I remember the sports teacher looking at me and telling me, why don't you wear bikers? I was like, what? So you see, this is the issues I'm still dealing with now. The way I was raised, the way I was brought up is I was made for a global, I was built to be a global citizen. But now because I'm in Kenya, I'm in Africa, we have our own culture here and I love our culture. I really butt heads with a lot of people because of the way I dress, because of the way I think, my outlook on life is so different, you know. I want to say European, but I don't want to say European. I want to say modern. I think I was built to be in a modern world, you know. So I was getting a lot of pushback also from the teachers there because of the way I was dressing. I actually remember a funny story. The first day of school, we had gone to Harrier Uniforms inside Center to buy a uniform. My mother bought me and my sister our skirts for school and our shirts and everything. When we were going to school, we were sent back. The minute we were dropped off at school with the driver and when we climbed up the stairs, we were called up to the office of the headmaster and we were asked, why are you dressed like that? Because the skirts were above our knees, you know. The skirt was like up to here. And because I come from Mombasa Academy, and I mean we were wearing, I swear, girls would wear skirts up to here, you know. That's why I'm telling you the cultural differences, I was so embarrassed. We were sent home and told to change and to dress appropriately with skirts below the knee. I'm telling you, my mother laughed. My mother was like, what is going on? Chelimo, do you guys really want to stay in this school? Me, I just was happy to see black people. I'm like, yes, let's continue staying here. So we got longer skirts. Anyway, so year 8 also, I didn't have many friends except for Leah and another beautiful girl called Vera. The boys always bullied me. There was a girl in that class, I hated her. I won't even use her real name. She was a Kikuyu girl. Her name rhymes with Mboki. Mboki thought, let me tell you something, her shit did not stink. Mboki thought she was up here. Are we together the front row? I was like, who does this girl think she is? Anyway, it's important for the part 2 of this story of Mboki is very important for part 3. Boom. So year 8 goes by with no wahala. I'm still doing well in school. I'm not being a kleptomaniac in this new school because I believed a fresh start. Let me just do the best I can. So I was not kleptomaniacing or anything. I was doing so well in my schoolwork, But at this time, because of my issues with sexual assault and wanting to be accepted, boys were really taking advantage of me. I never had sex. I never lost my virginity. I lost my virginity at the age of 18. At that age, I was like 12 or 13. So boys would take advantage of me, they want to touch my boobies, they want to touch me everywhere, but they don't want me to be their girlfriend. So I always struggled with that. And when this was going on, people would talk and call me Sijui the school, head girl, because I just mad things. And so that was happening. So fast forward to year 9. In year 9, I had a crush on a boy because he called me one day and told me, Kimberly, please don't use my name because I'm going to lose my job. No, it's because you don't want to be exposed, you dog. But because I have this much respect for you, I'll just use the name Morris. So there was this kid in our year called Morris. At the time, he was dating a girl in the year below in year 8, but it was one of those weird relations where you're not sure. We had gone for a trip to Masai Mara, right? It was a geography trip, I think. So on this trip is our whole class and this Morris, and of course you remember my favorite girl Leah, and that dog called Mercy. So when we go to this trip, I'm still thinking Mercy is my best friend and Leah's my best friend. So we get a room together in Masai Mara. So that night, I think it was our last night, Morris comes and knocks on the door and he says he wants to see me. I think it was before dinner. So I had the biggest crush on him. Me and Morris going to the room, the toilet of the room we're staying in with Mercy and Leah, who are still in the room. And when they're in the bathroom, you guys might kiss. But then now you wanted extra things. You wanted to touch my boob. Me, let me tell you something. Me, I believe in Jesus Christ from the go. And my mother was a Luo. There's no games like that. There's no games. I was like, no, nigga, no. I think it's time for you to leave. So the mother sucker left. Are we together? As we go back to the room, obviously, girls, what did we? I'm like, he kissed me. You guys, I think he really like each other. Oh my, I'm 14. You guys, I'm so excited. Oh my God. Once I haven't told you guys my first kiss. It was not Morris. The first kiss I ever had, we were staying at Sun and Sand Hotel. We had gone for holiday with the family. There was a white family that used to stay there that was such friends with. Her name was Helen Chalmers. It's so strange. I've seen right now she's married to a Kenyan celebrity. Strange. This world is this small. So Helen Chalmers and the parents were staying there. And also my cousin lived in that hotel because my auntie worked as, I think she was the general manager or I don't know, something. So that night, we beg our parents. We want to go out. We beg. And so the parents say, okay, fine. You guys can go out. You can go to Mambo Village only tonight and you'll be back at 11. You guys, I was 12 years old. I got my first kiss at 12 years old and I was a giant. You guys must understand I was so huge. So we get into the car. We're going to Mambo Village. Me, Helen Chalmers, other cousins, we get to this Mambo Village. We climb the stairs, we enter. There was a disco inside there back in the day. As we entered the disco, we were so hype. My siblings and my cousins are busy trying to get black ices. I don't know what. Me, I locked eyes with this Arab guy. I remember, I know about him is that he went to Sheikh Khalifa. I can't remember his name. We locked eyes, boom, and I remember he had glasses on. Woo, woo, woo. We first started dancing. The next thing I know, you guys, we were sat on chairs like this. My sister will tell you this story. I was so embarrassed. We made out, you guys, for like 2 hours. Like our face was stuck to each other. He kept having to remove his glasses to wipe the mist and put them back on. We were obsessed. But then after that kiss, we lost contact. I didn't have a phone. I was 12 years old, although I lied to him that I was 15. I think he was 17 years old. I was so naughty. But then everybody made fun of me. We go back to the hotel. They're laughing. They're like, Chelimo was kissing our boy. Chelimo was kissing her. I was so embarrassed. Anyway, boom. So Morris was not my first kiss, but I think he was my second kiss or my third kiss. Anyway, boom. So the trip is over at Masai Mara. We get into the buses. We come back to Nairobi. Everything is normal. Me, I'm excited. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to go and see Morris tomorrow in school. But you know those teenage nonsense. The next day in school, he's acting like he doesn't even know me. Anyway, boom. So kidogo, as I'm just sitting there chilling, I think we were having English class or something. I'm called to the office. I'm like, now what the hell is going on? As I get to the office, I find Morris sitting there in that office and his mother. And the headmaster is busy telling me how my mother is also on the way. I'm like, why? You guys, my mother is a Luo. My mother has no chills, Mother Saka, no chills. Once when I tell you that story of the UN, how she threw a shoe at my head, my guy, ningumu kidogo. Boom. So anyway, I'm like, what the hell is going on? What the hell? Kidogo, my mother is on the way. So I'm there in the office with Morris and his mother. The headmaster says, okay, Mercy Gaya went and told Miss, her name was Miss Kanjo, you people. You must understand. You know those beautiful, cute Kikuyu, motherly women like in her 50s, who's like religious, rules, that design. So Mercy went to go and tell this teacher that, you know, Kimberly, when we're in Masai Mara, allowed Morris to enter our bedroom and go into the washroom, and they kissed and they left. Can you people imagine? Somebody who you called your best friend, somebody you'd have break with every single day. Can you imagine this dog? Boom. Kidogo, I'm like, what? We are given 2 pieces of paper. We're told, go and write down in separate rooms exactly what happened. Me, you know me, I'm from Mombasa Academy. Me, I've been raised with white people. Me, I do not see no big deal in kissing anyone. I'm like, ha! So he came, then he kissed me. We kissed for a while. He tried to give me a hickey, but I didn't want a hickey because I didn't take a shower that day and we were doing geography things the whole day. Then he put his hand on my boob. I didn't want that. I didn't like that. I told him everything. Kidogo, I give back the letter. Kidogo, who am I? He's sitting there? My mother. You guys must understand. I am a whole giant, right? But my mother alikuwa anatoshana hivi. So, you guys, I'm there in the office, I'm nervous. My mother used to act brand new in front of teachers. My mother was the type of parent who you didn't have to convince that your child has done something wrong. She will be the one to say she did it. That design. So my mother is like, what happened? She looks at me. So you want babies? So you want to be a mother? So I should just stop paying school fees. You want to go and have children? I will kill you. Let me tell you something. The headmaster had to be like, calm down, woman. And then you know she's being extra. Morris's mother is trying to say, yo, just calm down, lady. So the headmaster is like, you know, the good thing is they've said the truth of what happened, and I believe Kimberly, she's a good girl. It's just teenage things, so nothing will go from here. We'll just give you guys a warning. My mother, no warning. These people need to be expelled. Madasaka, they need to be expelled. Let me tell you, Morris's mother looked at my mother like, what the hell is wrong with you? My mother is calling for blood. My mother wants blood right now on the table. She's like, no expulsion. The headmaster had to be like, why do you want that? No, they need to be punished. The next thing should be pregnant. Bring me babies to raise. You guys, the headmaster had to now appease my mother and say, okay, fine, we're going to give them a 2-week suspension. Oh my God. Let me tell you guys the hell I went through that day. And then in the morning, my parent, I wish, in hindsight now, if Karanja ever gets into a situation like that, I don't know how I'll deal with it, but I'll try and figure out a way to deal with it without being suspended. Anyway, so the 2 weeks I'm in the house, you can imagine my heart is beating every day. I can't even eat. I'm so stressed. They canceled DSTV subscription those 2 weeks, so I cannot watch no DSTV. That's why I love watching Sky News. I would always just be watching Sky News on the TV. It was a hell of a 2 weeks. So I think after my parents calmed down, they saw how embarrassed I was. They saw how damaged I was. That when I went back to school, that Mercy is walking around like the Queen Bee, telling everybody what a big whore I am and how dirty I am. And then that Mboki girl is also there. Let me tell you, those girls will not even sit down with me because I was labeled a whore. I was labeled, let me tell you, kids can be so evil. Children. I still hold anger towards that Mercy girl because she was 14, she was aware of her actions. I have never done something so diabolical to someone. Me, Kimberly, that was sitting here, I have never in my whole entire life. Even when I was a kid, the worst I ever did was take people's sticker books and tear 500 bob. But to go and snitch on somebody, I was never on that energy, never. So anyway, moving on. And I was a prefect, mind you. I was a sports captain. I was given levels of authority when I was in high school, but I never played those games. You understand? Anyway, so moving on swiftly. At this point, after my little suspension, my parents think now she needs to go to boarding school. You need punishment, Madasaka. We're taking you to boarding school. But they took me to a mixed boarding school, a British boarding school, a private boarding school. It wasn't really punishment. I think my mother expected me to cry, to fall down flat on the ground, to just be like, I want to come back home. But actually, I was so happy because I was able to get away from the house, the home, where I felt I was such a big disappointment. You know, the words that were used were so diabolical, you know. I'm sorry to use that word. It was, you know, you want to get pregnant, you want children, you know, you're so embarrassing, you've shamed me, you're so dirty. You can imagine your parents telling you such things. You can imagine. And I understand African parents, we need to beat, we need to shout, we need to scare. Are we together? But sometimes tough love is good, but sometimes where is the love, you know? It would have been great if I was spoken to and explained to that you're 14, you have hormones, I know you're interested in guys right now, but this is not the best way to go about it. Next time if you have feelings for somebody, tell me. And I think that's why so many young Kenyan girls fall pregnant, so many of them run away from home, because they're not given a safe place to talk about their emotions and their feelings for the other sex. It's sort of like the parents want to tell them, you are not allowed to have those feelings. If you have those feelings, you're very wrong, you're a slut, you're demonic, But that's, it's science, you understand? The minute you start having a period, you're attracted to the opposite sex. So we need safe places to discuss these things, you understand? Community leaders like pastors, teachers, whatever, counselors, need to go into the homes and talk about sex openly. In Africa, we need to talk about sex openly. This is why people hide when they're doing it. They don't even use protection, because it's sort of like you're doing a demonic thing. It is only bad outside of marriage. Are we together? But you must understand, young children, before they have this sex, they're doing a lot of things. They're kissing, they're fondling, they're touching breasts. Even these young children, these ones of chamama, our 6 years old, I will never allow Karanja to play chamama. Never. When I go there and I start saying to chase chamama, chamama ni nini, chamama ni nini. Never. Because that's why somebody will start saying, Mami wana kisiana, aibu nione yako to that design. So let's leave it there, because the chapter of the British private school is going to be long and tedious. So now we've moved from being in Mombasa Academy at the age of 12 in year 6 to now going into this school in Nairobi, predominantly black school, until the year of year 9. So at Mombasa Academy, I left when I was 12, and then this school, Brayside, I left when I was 14 years old, under suspension, okay? And there were so many horrible experiences in that school. I won't get into them here, but I survived it. I am not friends with any single person in that institution, not even one. The only person I feel like if I could find them, I would love to talk to them is Lea Nyambura. The rest of the guys were terrible. I remember there was this guy called Gishohe. He was American, but a down low. So rude. Always, I love gay people. I have no problem with gay people because they are people. They're my brothers and sisters. But I find it very hard to get along with the feminine gay. Not all. I know maybe I've not met all of them, but the ones I've come across, the ones who want to make you feel like you're not a woman, or whatever you do is not womanly enough, and they're very catty, you tell them something, they go and tell the whole world. It's so hard for me, you understand? But I do love the gay people. I love all types of people, I'm not here to judge anyone, so good one. Oh, and there's also another guy who I really liked, his name was Tony Machani, and another guy I really liked, his name was Julio. I'm so happy for him, his transition, you understand? I'm happy because that's what makes him happy. He went to America, his transition, I'm very happy for him, I always tell you guys, yes, I'm a Christian, yes, I love God, but I don't judge nobody. May I tell you, are you happy doing it? Then I'm happy for you, Madasaka. When rapture happens and God comes down and he asks you 1, 2, 3 questions, you will know what to tell him. But for me, I'm happy, you guys. Me, I support. Me, I'm just there telling you, as long as you're happy, Madasaka, and you're over 18, do what you gotta do. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. Okay, bye. Bye.